My name is Karen Carniel-Tambor, and I am the Co-Chief Investment Officer at Bridgewater Associates, which is a large global institutional money management firm. And through that role, I invest all around the world in markets everywhere. I'm honored and excited to host today's program. As most of you know, the American Technion Society supports the growth and success of the Technion, Israel's Institute of Technology, which is really a global innovation powerhouse. ATS's investments in the Technion's research, education, innovation really advance critical breakthroughs that have benefited both the state of Israel and the world. This is a very special day to be hosting this program and a very special moment for me personally. I was born and raised in Haifa in Israel. And my father, Yoram Tambor, is an emeritus professor of aerospace engineering in Technion. And through him, I really had a front row seat throughout my life to the vast impact of the Technion and the research that it's had on the state of Israel and the world at large. But when you look at what's happening today and the sort of day that's being experienced in Haifa in particular, and in Israel's broadly, it's so plain and easy to see what the Technion's role has been, both how critical it's been in getting us to where we are here, whether it's air defenses and air superiority being just one of those elements, as well as why that role and continuing empowering that role is going to be so critical in the future. We have two extraordinary people joining us today, and we'll excuse them if they end up needing to run and leave under rocket fire. It's definitely a challenging time in Israel. It's been a challenging year, and I know that it means a lot to everyone at Technion to have so many participants listening in, especially on a day like today. So the American Technion Society's tagline about the Technion is "From visionary education to a world of impact." And this is really a good description of what we're going to be talking about today. Since opening in 1924, which is really a date to take in, Technion is Israel's oldest public university. It has such a reputation for excellence as a top academic center, but it's also really credited with launching the careers of generations of engineers and scientists whose ingenuity has really gifted the world a stunning array of innovations. Just to pull a few stats, I've looked at international rankings of where founders of new companies come from. There are about 550 companies founded directly by Technion alumni, collectively have raised about $20 billion. That puts Technion at one of the top universities in the world for creating founders of tech companies. And then many more thousands of Technion graduates have been more involved in managing and running something like 1,500 companies in Israel, with revenues exceeding over 30 billion and the creation of more than 100,000 jobs. I think everyone is familiar by now with the concept of Israel as the startup nation, which really refers to the entrepreneurial environment within Israel. But I do think it's usually associated with supporting entrepreneurship in terms of investments and making early stage investments. But as someone who's made many early stage investments myself and seen entrepreneurs go through their journey, while it may seem counterintuitive, there's a very important role that philanthropy plays in creating the backdrop of the environment that creates that startup nation eventually. From the very early part of the pipeline, which is taking a wide array of students, Technion is a very diverse student body, and getting them kind of hooked on the idea that maybe their career should be doing something entrepreneurial rather than joining a big established firm, all the way to what it takes to support a company to be successful. It is never easy to start a company from scratch, and the support systems around you make a huge difference. So today we're going to talk about that whole pipeline, from the beginning to the end, and the role that Technion plays in really making that startup ecosystem vibrant and supporting it into the future. And I'm joined by two incredible guests to help us talk about this. I'm really delighted to be joined by Professor Lihi Zelnick-Manor and Dr. Asaf Glazer. Professor Lihi Zelnick-Manor is Technion's new Vice President for Innovation and Industry Relations. This is a newly formed position that was really created in recognition of the Technion's strategic policy of strengthening the ties between academia and industry. So Lihi oversees, and you'll hear from her, the transfer of knowledge and technology developed at Technion to industry, including identifying research requirements of industry, collaborative research, and commercializing the knowledge. She's herself a Technion alum. She's a member of the Andrew and Erna Viterbi Faculty of Electrical and Computer Engineering, as well as the Faculty of Data and Decision Sciences. Prior to her current role, Lihi served in a very, very special, cool role as the general manager of Alibaba's R&D Center in Israel. She was also a visiting professor at the Joan and Erwin Jacobs Technion-Cornell Institute at Cornell Tech during its early years. And when she was there, she got a front row seat, was really an unofficial consultant and mentor to many of the entrepreneurs in the Runway Startup postdoc program there. Dr. Asaf Glazer is a seasoned entrepreneur and technologist, currently serving as the CEO and founder of Vinst, an AI-powered cooking companion that improves the user's cooking experience with real-time vision support. Asaf came to the Technion for his PhD after stints at Wales Ltd, where he provided solutions for air defense systems, and Applied Materials, where he worked on image classification methods for process control in the semiconductor industry. He completed his PhD at Technion with a specialization in machine learning and computer vision. And then he joined the Jacobs Runway program, the one I just described Leahy as mentoring, as a postdoctoral fellow in 2014. While he was there, as a sleep-deprived new dad, he founded Nanit, a smart baby monitor that uses AI to provide sleep insights through a first-of-its-kind camera vision. Nanit was recognized by Wirecutter as the best baby monitor and named one of the best inventions of 2018 by Time magazine. In addition, Nanit was listed as one of the fastest growing companies in North America on Deloitte's 2020 Technologies Fast 500, and Asaf named one of AliWatch's 50 NYC tech influencers in 2019. So clearly, Leahy and Asaf are very well positioned to highlight the special relationship between the Technion's philanthropic, entrepreneurial sides and how it supports the whole process. So through our conversation today, please feel free to utilize the Q&A function located at the bottom of your screen and submit your questions. I'm going to get to as many as I can towards the end of this program, and I hope we get lots of questions on the topics we discussed to our two great panelists. So Asaf and Leahy, it is such a pleasure to be with you here today. Thank you so much for joining us on what I know is a very challenging time.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, pleasure to be here.
So Leahy, let me start with you. Can you explain what the Technion does to support entrepreneurship along this sort of pipeline I was talking about, from people first becoming entrepreneurs all the way to what it takes to really create and maintain successful companies?
Sure. So let me share a slide with you guys. Did it work?
Looks great.
Excellent. Thank you. So this slide kind of tries to show you what it is that we do. The Technion, let's start from the Technion's vision. Our vision is to be dedicated to the creation of knowledge and to the development of human capital and leadership. But the purpose is for the advancement of the state of Israel and all of humanity. And this means that the overarching objective of everything we do is to positively impact the economy and society as a whole. Now, to do that, we provide support to the Technion community. And in Technion community, you can think both about students and the researchers. And we try to accompany them along the innovation pipeline. As you can see in this slide, starting from the left, we support our students and researchers in the ideation process, where we'll talk later about T-Hub, where students can come and think about starting companies. And researchers do that usually in their research labs, starting with research grants that are aimed at commercialization. They dream about things, they solve problems, they create new technologies, and then they want to become entrepreneurs. And then we have accelerators and a whole unit called T3, which is Technion Tech Transfer. That's why T3, which accompanies the researchers in the entrepreneurship journey, starting from finding the CEOs, raising funding, entering incubator programs. All that support is given to our researchers and students. And then we even have some programs that provide some pre-seed investments and support the companies in their early days. And then once they grow, they need to walk by themselves. They need to be independent and succeed as a company.
So Asaf, can you tell us about what was special about the tech transfer at Runway and how it played in to you ending up founding the company Nanit?
Yeah, Runway gave us a lot as new entrepreneurs that came from the academia, but I think that the tech transfer is really unique and revolutionary in the way that it was structured at the Runway. I should mention Professor Uzi Dehan, the architect of Runway, and Professor Adam Schwartz that We worked together on drafting the contract and wordsmithing. It was a lot of goodwills on both sides in order to have this program successful. And traditionally, tech transfer engage in long negotiation process to license technology. This sometimes tedious process make the economic or put some uncertainties around the economic behind the invention, especially in early phases of a venture. Runway took a different approach when they actually gave us, the Runway companies, royalty-free worldwide for life exclusive license for the technology in return for a stake in the company. They actually act as an investors, and they use a straightforward, safe document to put it in place. As a result, they became a lead investor, and they also set the valuation for the company and really set it for success when it comes for fundraising and removing the uncertainties around the license. I must say that it gave also Runway the option to be to pick the champions and decide who are the companies or the postdoc that are wish to invest in. It led them to see the value beyond the financial income, like social impact and contribution to research. I think that Nanit is a great example. Like we had a really tiny market when we thought about launching Nanit, baby, with lots of innovation risk, hardware, B2C, but Runway saw the potential with their values, and today there are babies sleeping better all over the world, and Nanit is also a research tool that is widely used in the research community with dozens of studies in leading journals using the technology to expand our knowledge on baby development and sleep.
So that's incredible stuff. How did you end up here? How did your experience in the Technion end you up on this entrepreneurial journey where you found this company and have this impact all around the world?
Good question. First, Nanit started when I was a PhD student. So Udi, my first kid, was born, and I put a camera above his crib and said, okay, let's do process control for babies. And it was fine. It was at the Technion. But I don't know if, Leif, you know about it, but I was also part of BizDeck. And I had a different startup called Navapply at the Technion together with Roy Levin. He was a PhD student dealing with navigation system at the computer science faculty. We were also one of the finalists for the program, and we also submitted a patent through tech transfer. It was a great experience for us that really helped us with the next, with the next venture when I founded Nanit. I had my PhD advisors, Professor Shaul Markovich and Professor Michael Lindenbaum in the field of machine learning and computer vision. It's really the education that I received really helped me to create the core IP and the technology for Nanit. When I moved to Cornell, then the president of the Technion back then, Peretz Lavi, one of the founders of sleep medicine, really helped with his advice and knowledge and connection to researchers all around the world. We put cameras in sleeping labs. We partner with sleep experts. We started to do the validation studies, the infrastructure for all the studies and research that we see today with Nanit. So Technion was definitely part of it along the journey.
So Lee, in Asaf's comments, you really hear what it sounds like to have a Technion student, in this case a PhD student, and then a postdoc that has an entrepreneurial mindset, is coming to his education and thinking how to turn these ideas into something that'll matter in the world. How does the Technion foster this kind of mindset around students, such a diverse student body that you have, and researchers? What initiatives are in place to really support budding entrepreneurs?
Asaf, I didn't know you participated in BizTech. I only knew the second half since we met. We were at Cornell Tech at the same time. So to your question, we don't need to do a lot. So this is which is amazing. So people like Asaf, they are born entrepreneurs. I don't know how to explain it. We just need to nurture it, and we need not to interrupt, not to block. We need to not to put blockers on in their way. But then, okay, so I think this is actually a major thing. And if you listen to what Asaf said when he joined the runway program in New York, Asaf's answer was the policies were attractive. They told me about what's important and what's less important. They educated me about how to choose my partners. So it's more about removing blockers and a little bit of mentoring and education. I think that's the most important thing. And when we look at that at the Technion, this is exactly what we try to do. We try to be a place that enables that, but we also try to be a little bit proactive. So when I say a little bit, Asaf mentioned a program called BizTech. That program has been running for many years, but 4 years ago, the Technion founded a unit called T-Hub. And T-Hub, it's a Technion hub for innovation. And this is a place where students can come and get their first taste in the world of entrepreneurship. And I think that they have approximately 7,000 students. And to give it, this is about 50% of the students at the Technion enter T-Hub doors every year and participate in some activity. Sometimes it would be just one class or one lecture, and sometimes it would be taking classes, getting a minor in entrepreneurship. So there are all kinds of levels. The more intensive programs like BizTech that Asaf mentioned, there are 150 teams join those programs every year. Out of them, 10 are accepted to the really long-term close mentoring. 10 teams are accepted to those programs like BizTech, and then typically 5 companies are founded per year by Technion students while they are students at the Technion or when they just graduated and joined those programs. So this is something that we see. And then most of our students, they will graduate and then will go into the big world, and then they will start their companies when the time is right for them. So they do it at a later stage in their career.
So Asaf, talk to us a little bit about being part of an incubator. So you joined the Runway Incubator, Cornell Tech, and you did it as a postdoc. So definitely an unusual thing. How did this help you? This wasn't your first kind of experience trying to start a company, being part of an incubator. What are the benefits of being a part of that? And what advice do you have for researchers that are thinking of going in this direction?
Yeah, I relocated to New York with my family in January 2014. It was a cold winter. I came with sneakers and a fleece jacket. I knew almost no network or familiar with the area, and Runway and Cornell Tech were my home. I interview every parent when I arrived, and they really helped me with their advice, experience, and network to navigate through the search problem of the entrepreneurial path. It was really just that. It's really helped us to go through this. It's a very kind of, you at the beginning you're really alone, and it was my home. What advice would I give to new entrepreneurs? First, we talk here about IP, so I think that IP is something that you should think about it early on in your entrepreneurial journey, no later than the incorporation of the company. I think that for universities is kind of trivial to create inventions, but innovation, but in the industry, in many cases, you are late to the game. And when you think about it, you missed the option to capitalize the technology that you created. So this is, I think, practically something that we should do when we start a company. Second thing, the entrepreneurs that come, these are smart people. Like you should go with your heart and with your instincts and with your passion to build the venture that you want. It's also important to create a brand for the venture that you believe in. I found out that the brand that you build for the company, it's very important to be aligned with your heart and the way that you do things. It's probably more important for a consumer brand, but I think it's generally good for all ventures.
Well, thank you. So Lihi, more broadly, how does the Technion collaborate with incubators, accelerators, both locally and globally? We kind of hear from Asaf how critical that can be in those very early stages. The words he used alone, I think I've heard it from every single, kind of true founder, how alone you are in those early days. Can you share some examples of successful partnerships on this front?
So the Technion has been involved in a variety of such programs. So incubators and accelerators they start, someone opens them, and then after a few years they're shut down. So if you look at the 100 years the Technion has been around, we had partnerships with a variety of such programs. And a good collaboration is when it's clear what the goals are, it's clear what the areas are. I can give one example. Technion has partnership in an incubator program that is called NGT, and the focus is on healthcare. And we have very close connections with the founders of the incubator. And every year they take 2 companies based on Technion research. So this is not just any company coming out by Technion graduate, but we want them to take companies by Technion researchers. They accept 1 or 2 companies per year, usually 2 companies in the healthcare domain. And then they provide them this support system that Asaf has mentioned. So this is one example. Another example that we had a program called Drive, which was the Israeli version of Runway. It was a little bit different from Runway, but something that we thought was more fitting for the local environment, for the local community. And that program was open for students who graduated already. So graduates could come even after 10 years or 5 years from graduation, come back to the Technion, and then get this support system as well of mentoring, a little bit of seed funding, some office space, all those things that when you start a company, you don't know how to do. And sometimes you need, there are all those stories about starting your company from the garage of your parents' house, which is very cool. But if you're located at the Technion, you're better positioned. So this is something that we did with the Drive. And right now we're exploring options, actually connecting maybe with the programs in New York, the Runway program. We might be looking for funding for that soon. Everything needs funding always. And this, I think it's the same goals always, but we adapt to the change of time. So right now, Israeli entrepreneurs are really looking for the global outreach. So for the last decade, it was not that critical. All the major VCs had boots on the ground in Israel, and you could get funding in Israel, and you didn't need to go to the US. And now this situation is changing, and our Israeli entrepreneurs start their companies in the US, and then this branching out into New York would be something that they need now more than they needed 10 years ago. So probably we'll open a different program that is more fitting for these years.
Good. And that brings us to kind of that broader ecosystem of support, whether it's mentorship, which is kind of softer, early funding, networking to even meet people who've done things like this. How do those sorts of resources end up mattering, contributing to the success of Technion affiliated startups?
So actually a lot. Maybe I want to share the slide again. where is it? It's here. I want to share my slide again. And if you look at this slide of the innovation vehicles, you'll see on the left, we're saying from idea to POC, and there's this circle here saying grants and government and industry. What does that mean? So let me stop sharing. So a researcher works, okay. Our researchers, they work in the labs, and it's very easy to do research which is basic and deep research, which is excellent. And this is actually the main role of our research. But some of our researchers, they care about making impact also in the industrial world, making impact in the economy. But they're not familiar with the real world problems. They're not familiar with what the market needs. So somehow we need to create this connection already when they work on their research and when they choose the research problems. Some of the research problems are directed into such directions when you create those connections. And how do we do that? So we have a support system applying for grant money joint with companies, and then there's joint IP generated with the companies, and you learn about the problems that those companies have. We have student projects that are supervised by industry, already for undergraduates, but also for graduates. Researchers can consult in industry. So the faculty members can spend 1 day a week in the industry. And actually 15% of Technion faculty members now leverage this opportunity. And this is a mechanism that allows people just to get familiarized with the problems and get to familiarize themselves also with the industry world that usually researchers are not familiar with. Even you tell them, please, can you write a business plan? And they say, business what? What is that? How do you do that? What is a pitch? These are all new scopes that they're not familiar with. So when we do all the when we integrate this into the research that the researchers do, that's how we start to nurture this way of thinking. And actually, the Technion is #1 in Israel in getting funding from the Israel Innovation Authority, which has several routes of funding that are aimed at commercialization at the end of the day. Okay, they're not for starting companies, but maybe 2-3 years later on, a company will spin out from that research. This is like applied research. So this is the part of the things that we do. And then I think this is critical, this kind of infusing this mindset, saying that it is important, saying that it is something that we appreciate, cheering to our entrepreneurs, sharing their success stories. I think that's the type of thing that we do. And then we have all those standard mechanisms on top of it, acceleration programs that actually do the mentorship for going from idea to POC, funding, etc.
And for those not familiar, POC is proof of concept. And so Lee is describing that distance from, you have some research, you have some loose idea. How do you bring that to a spot where there's actually proof of concept might actually work as a business? And that, like, going from zero can really be the hardest part before it even starts taking shape as really being a business. So Asaf, you've been through this. I'd love to hear a little bit more. What was your experience getting exposed to that broader entrepreneurial ecosystem and how it helped you navigating the challenges, whether when you were at Technion in Israel or at Cornell Tech in New York, how you use that kind of broader ecosystem to both form your vision and then navigate the challenges that ultimately come up?
The ecosystem at the runway, right? I think that what is really unique about the ecosystem at the runway is that it is composed of both researchers and entrepreneurial people experience. Like, people come with both this experience and try to think how to help the companies, and being an entrepreneur that going out from the academia, there are certain blind spots that they were aware of because of their understanding of both sides of the industry and academia. And I think it really helped to create a plan and understand the runway that you need in order to create ventures that have technology involved. And it really helped us eventually to take off.
Fantastic. So, Lihi, let's go back to your new role. You are the newly installed head of innovation industry relations at Technion. What are your goals for future of entrepreneurship at Technion, and how do you see Technion as an institution evolving to meet the needs?
So we have several goals. I'll say we mainly want, and the goals are not actually numbers, as you might expect in the business world. It's not the number of companies. We measure that. We look at how many companies, we look at the impact those companies make. But on our daily work, what we focus on is improving in everything that we do. My goal is to be able to move faster, connect our researchers to better entrepreneurs, create more support vehicles. I try to invest in the infrastructure and just be a better support system for the Technion members. And by doing that, they will just take it and they will run. They will leverage everything we provide them, and they will just start the companies, and we'll see more companies and better companies coming out. So I think that's where my focus is. And the one area that I really want to improve on more significantly beyond just being a little better is becoming a better home for our students. And in what sense? If you look at the statistics that you might have seen over the last year, there were some publications that show that the probability of a company founded by a Technion graduate to become a unicorn in the US is 14 times higher than an MIT or Harvard graduate, 12 times higher than a Stanford or Berkeley graduate. These are astounding numbers. How come a Technion graduate has higher probability to found a unicorn than the leading universities in the US? And I think this is, again, everything we're seeing in Israel as the startup nation or the scale-up nation now. All those companies, or most of those companies, are students. They graduate and they start those companies independent from the Technion. And what we'd like to do is take T-Hub one level forward and make it a home where students start their companies at the Technion. This is something we want to do better at. We want to create a better connection with those companies. We want people like Asaf to come back to the Technion and start their companies at the Technion. But already students that are there, we want to be their home for that. And currently we are an okay home. We're not an excellent home for that. So this is something I hope to achieve.
That's fantastic. And the fact that you get students somewhat later in life than an American university, having had often military experience and so on, it makes them much more likely to, as their students, already be ready, both from maturity and having seen things in the world, to start a company right away. So Asaf, same type of question for you. So you're an alum and a successful entrepreneur. How do you see the Technion's role in sort of the global entrepreneurship landscape? And what role do you see for the future of where the Technion can go in this regard?
First, I agree with Lee with everything she said about, I think that Technion is in a very unique position from the assets that they have. The entrepreneurial culture of the Technion, part of the startup nation, it's in our DNA at the Technion. And on the other side, another asset is the academic excellence and being able, and there are already Technion show how it can bring to innovation breakthroughs. And when you put those two assets together, you understand the potential in the commercialization of science that come from the Technion with the entrepreneurs that graduate. And this is with great assets also come great responsibility. And when it comes to the role of the Technion, I think it's about finding the ways to structure the IP, to lead, to be bold, to be creative, to be entrepreneurial as an institute in creating those breakthroughs like the runway that actually create amazing companies over time. I also think that this the partnership with other institutes with similar mindsets is that also can bring like global institute outside Israel can also bring to this type of potential in the commercialization of science, and Cornell is a great example. The runway is a great example for that, where 1 + 1 is greater than 2.
Amazing. I think this is my turn to say, Asaf and Karen, I really enjoyed sharing this Zoom stage with you and to talk about the Technion's entrepreneurial impact. And Karen, I would like to ask a question to you to bring the discussion into a full circle. As someone from the investment side, what do you think are the key qualities or factors that investors look for in startups coming out of academic institutions like the Technion?
So, I think the world has changed a lot in the past few years with the realization that there are a few big sectors of cutting edge technology that are going to be really critical to global leadership and for peace and prosperity of nations. And so you're seeing a renewed focus on directing funding towards what I'd call very cutting edge and advanced technologies in a few different sectors. And so if you used to have a world where a lot of money went towards an Instagram, right? Something where like relatively low tech capability can maybe create a successful company. A lot of money now is going to where you need a lot of specialized expertise, and you need entrepreneurs that come out of an ecosystem of academic excellence where they actually have the skill set to be able to make companies in that space. So when you hear Asaf and he talks about the training he had in machine learning and computer vision and AI, there are very few global institutions that produce students that actually have world-class background in what are going to be the big important industries for the future. So I think investors are looking for people that actually have the capabilities to push these industries to a different level. And there are very few institutions that can produce those people, whether it is AI, machine learning, semiconductors, but also very cutting edge areas in health. We already spoke a little bit about, things about aerospace and defense. There's a lot of different areas where the Technion has world-class academic excellence. And so yielding students that have that skill set is, really probably the most important thing to investors. But then the second thing, which you've both spoken on at length, is you do need students that are then willing, able, have had enough exposure and background that they have some sense of what it means to take some of that and do something entrepreneurial with it. And that combination is very unique, but it doesn't happen randomly. It's not just a personality. Personality helps a lot. It's a huge part of it, but you need some exposure. You need to have ever seen or heard somebody who's worked on things like this. So when Lee talks about maybe you have a professor that spends a day a week consulting with industry, or maybe as a student, you actually heard a little bit about some of the problems in industry. Maybe Asaf talking about his experience seeing other people found firms and getting involved in finding them. That gives ideas, and it creates students that come out that not only then have the academic excellence and technical expertise, but also are more likely to have the passion, the drive, and the exposure to have any idea what it means to go even create that proof of concept and bring it to a stage where, as an investor, you go fund it. So as an investor, at some level, you're funding like in what is like stage 20 out of all the stages Lee is describing, right? Even very early stage investors are looking at people who are now formed. They have the academic expertise and they have a proof of concept idea. They know what they want the business plan to be. Getting them there to where, as an investor, I can say, take a check. That's really the incredible work you guys are doing.
Amazing. Thank you for this thoughtful response. Okay. Before I turn this back to you, Karen, to the audience to get some questions from the audience, I'd like to point out the QR code on the screen. All our participants, you're welcome to look at that and scan this code. You can scan it to get additional information about T-Hub. I mentioned T-Hub in my answers. T-Hub is the place where students come to learn about what does it mean to be entrepreneur, how do you start your company, and then we accompany them through their entrepreneurial journey. T-Hub is the home where program like BizTech that Asaf participated in is home today. And we want to, as I mentioned, one of our main goals is to make T-Hub a better home, a better place for students to be even more successful and better connected to the Technion in their entrepreneurial journey. So we'd love to get donations from you. If you're interested, please scan the QR code to learn about the programs and the activities on campus.
Well, thank you all for submitting some really great questions. I'm going to try to get through as many of them as I can because there's some really great topics being asked about. Let me start with a question to you, Asaf, which is the question being asked here is, look, at this point, commercial success is always going to require launching a product outside of Israel. That's just the reality of the size that Israel is. How does a Technion interact with that necessity? And what was your personal experience? You, of course, launched products well outside of Israel and affected, as you said, children's sleep all over the world.
I feel that the world changed. You know, yes, in 2014, I cannot see launching Nanit from Israel, considering my expertise and, but I'm looking at it now. The world is now more remote, and you rely more on data when you make decisions. And actually, I found out that companies in Israel and out of the, Technion or whatever, they're really strong with data. And it makes them even give them an advantage over US companies that wants to go outside of the US region, because we already think about the global world and using data to provide value to our customers. So I really think that it is not that of a barrier as it used to be, but our market as a hyper growth venture that wants to is definitely outside of the Israel. This is something that probably won't change for the near future.
And I'm going to start with Lihi, but I think people will probably appreciate both of you answering this. How is the war that's been going on for a year, but obviously has ratcheted up in recent days, and just this experience of military operations affected Technion entrepreneurs, both folks who've been alum from a while ago, current entrepreneurs who are students? I think people would appreciate kind of seeing a landscape of how to think about the impact of everything that's been going on.
So I would say, so my answer is, surprises me as well. At the beginning, we thought it's going to be a terrible crisis, and we did see some companies struggle in raising funding. The Technion has a small investment fund, so our startup companies can apply and get some funding. And we saw companies that come and say everything was on pause. They're not sure if the money they almost secured is going to come in or not. And then as we moved on throughout the year, it seemed like things are kind of continuing. There was no major impact on our companies, but we are seeing now it's longer term. So now we're seeing that people are starting their companies. They used to start them in Israel. Now they're starting them more in the US rather than in Israel. And we are seeing slowdown in the funding that comes into Israel. I think now a year after, we're starting to see the signs.
I would just add that companies are indeed founding their mother company in the US, but the IP remain in Israel. They do
True.
not move the IP outside of Israel. So we just mention it. This is something that we do not see. It's more complicated from tax perspective, but just
You're right. Maybe I can say people have not given up yet. We're still optimistic that this war is not an indefinite thing, but rather something that will end soon enough that we can continue with our lives. And it's still like that. We're still seeing research funding coming in. We're still seeing people starting companies. I think the number of companies coming out from Technion this year will be similar to the previous 4 or 5 years. We're not really seeing a slowdown yet. We're feeling it's always kind of there's a sense in the air that it's coming, but so far, Technion even had a good exit this year. One of our startup companies was sold to NVIDIA. So I don't know. Yeah, can't explain it really.
That's an incredible story, that sale to
Yes,
NVIDIA.
yeah.
And I will say, as a venture investor myself, I recently received a report from a small VC fund that I've invested in that had every one of their Israeli companies, what share of their employees were currently on active duty. And it was incredible that they felt, as a venture investor, that all of them were pushing through and doing fine despite very high shares that were, contributing to the military effort. So that's certainly something that's hard to fully get your head around, but it's happening.
I agree. I have photos from one of my so my graduate students really love starting companies. Almost a dozen of them started their own companies. One of them one of my students who's really active in that domain right now. He has a company. He's pushing. It's generative AI company, and he's really pushing hard. So he was recruited, and he was on the northern border for like 3 months, and he's the CEO of a company during a fundraising round. And he sent me pictures. Well, I won't give too much details, but on like one hand, he's doing his military job, and then the other hand is with the laptop in incredible setup, trying to pitch to VCs. What I don't know, but maybe this had a good impact somehow. I agree, it is incredible.
As long as the internet is on, business as usual. This is something
Exactly,
that we
something
learned
like that.
during COVID. We learned how to practice, and now it is the reality.
I agree.
It's really incredible. And now it's going to be like business meetings, people running to, their safe rooms and coming back during business meetings.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll end soon. So let me stick on. You mentioned someone starting a generative AI company. And then after this, I promise I'm going to go to other sectors because AI could be all we talk about. But one of the questions we got was, there's such a heavy conversation going on surrounding the ethics of AI. This is such a big global topic. How's the Technion navigating such sensitive area in conjunction with not only teaching and educating, but then also creating companies that use AI in the core of what they do in the context of this big global discussion about AI and ethics and alignment?
So our focus is mostly on education, and we introduced Technion has a program called Embedded Ethics, and what this program includes is integrating education about ethics into classes at the Technion. And there are several dozens of classes, and these are classes in all kinds of domains, right? So it could be computer vision class, which I taught. It could be something in construction engineering or food tech, whatever. Doesn't matter what the topic is. We'll try to integrate a module about ethics into those classes. Sometimes those modules are given by the people who specialize in ethics, and that's their expertise, and sometimes by the class instructor, focusing more on how ethics relates to that field. So education is where we start, and this is what we do best. Trying to get people to be aware and think about it. And Asaf mentioned before, you asked Asaf, what should people think about when they start companies? And Asaf, you said, you should also think about doing something that has a good positive impact and will benefit the world in some way, and be passionate about the problem you're going to solve. And when you educate people to think about the ethical aspects of everything they do, then you have a higher probability of getting companies that are doing things the right way. So I think this is mostly our role. I think that out of the technical companies, there's one that is really around generative AI in the area of code programming. So less ethical questions over there. But in other domains, we are together with everybody else dealing with the ethical questions of that space.
So let me move off of AI. Another question I have is, when you look at areas that are outside of that, so some of the areas listed here are medical, energy, clean energy, water, recycling, social impact areas. How's Technion thinking about creating entrepreneurs in these diverse areas where the Technion does have a lot of academic leadership as well?
So the biggest challenge is actually the diversity, right? So if we had just one field, we could take all our funds and bring a pool of experts in that area and be excellent there, and we cannot, because if you look at the dozen companies coming out of the Technion every year, they're really in different fields. So what we try to do is two things. One is focus on general support and how to be entrepreneur and how to do this right. And then we'll bring in experts from outside. And actually right now we're trying to build this arsenal of experts, or the team of experts. I'm not sure how we're going to call that, but we really want to create a team of people who love the Technion and graduated from the Technion and are willing to help our entrepreneurs. And this is how we try to solve this diversity of areas problem.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to group together for you, Lihi, and Asaf, if you have anything to weigh in on, a number of questions about collaborations of different types. And you can choose if you want to cover all of them or only part of them. But we have a question on collaboration between Technion and other universities, Israeli universities and abroad, between their students. We have a question on collaboration between Technion and Cornell Tech and how close those relationships are across students, faculty, and staff. Then we have a question on collaboration between Technion and Israel Innovation Authority. And then the last one is collaboration between Technion and Bird Foundation. There's some cool examples here of Bird Foundation having a grant for biotechnology general Israel, which was an essential for Mountain View Pharmaceuticals. And so all of these on different levels. I don't know if we're going to hit all of them, but anything you want to hit on any of those areas of collaboration, how alive they are, how large they are, and what people should know about them.
Okay, Asaf, do you want to start, or?
I would just say that it took a while. The time passed since I was dealing with a collaboration between Cornell and Technion, so I'm not sure that I have much to contribute on those type of collaboration. But I think that in general, I'm a true believer in collaboration. I'll just say that collaboration is about eventually there is a person, an entrepreneur that stands there and an ownership and creating those type of culture and trying to find and create those things. I eventually, these are the people that are making the collaboration. Just a general comment about it. I must say that in the last year, I started dealing with home cooking. And I went for 1 year to learn cooking and pastry, and went to work in a restaurant. And I found out that people at the Faculty of Food and Engineering at the Technion are amazing students, but they have no culinary background. They go home and eat cheese and cucumber. And I brought the people from Bishulim, where I did my study, and said, maybe you can collaborate. Maybe you can run a collaboration. Maybe first-year students can go and learn about gastronomy before they do their degree. It makes something, and they actually listen. And I think that there is a program now, thanks to this, between Technion and Bishulim. So I think eventually collaboration is about just people that make it, and usually, as I said before, 1 + 1 is usually equal, is more than 2.
That's beautiful. It's a beautiful answer, and I don't want to add anything on top of that because may I just say I totally agree. And collaborations are about two partners wanting to collaborate, and then when they want to collaborate, you get excellent outcomes. And this is true for everything we said. Of course, the Technion works with Innovation Authority, and I said I think we're number one in Israel in winning support funding from the Israel Innovation Authority. Our researchers applied to BIRD, and all those channels are there. There are lots of collaborations with other universities, and we love that. Many programs for students to go from here to there and back. Now many of them are on hold, but not that many international students want to visit the Technion, but these are all activities that all universities actually do. I don't know if you're special in that in any way. But I love Asaf. I love what you did. I will catch up with you later to hear about this program. I'm really interested in the faculty of food and biotechnology and connecting them better to industry. And that's
This is my
I'm gonna
word
ask you
now,
to cook me
like,
something next time I come to Israel, hopefully soon. So just so you're ready, I'm gonna ask you for this. Let me just clarify, because I certainly was unfamiliar with it. The BIRD Foundation is the U.S. Israel Binational Industrial Research and Development Foundation. So before I wrap us up, because I know we're basically done, let me just ask you two questions that relate more to funding. A little bit different, but I think it'd be good to address both. One is, when the Technion supports entrepreneurial activity, is there any way that ever generates income back to the Technion? And the second is, how do donations kind of get distributed among all these pipeline segments you showed? How should folks that are donating, and if you're interested in learning more, we're going to put the QR code up again so you can get more information and donate to these activities. How should they think about what really requires funding along that pipeline?
Okay, so I'll start with does the Technion make revenues? That's actually not our goal. When we look at what we're doing, we're trying to look at the impact on the economy. The Technion, we're an educational institute, a research institute, and we're not a business. So we do care about how many companies were founded, how many employees, how many people work in those companies, how much money was raised by those companies, are they successful, are they doing things that change the world? And if you come to the visitor center at the Technion, this is what you see. You see the companies that actually did something that we're proud of. You won't necessarily see the most successful financially companies. You see the company that we're really proud of the technology and the impact it had on society. So this is what the Technion looks at more. The short answer is yes, there are. The Technion has made money, some income out of it, which is not insignificant, but I will not talk about the sums here. But it's a nice bonus, and we love that. And then about the other question was what happens with donation money, how it is distributed. So when people donate money, they get to choose what they want to fund. The two programs that are currently available for support, one of them is T-Hub, which is the house for students, or the hub where students can become entrepreneurs. So this is one program, and you can support that one. The other program is called T-Start, and this is our accelerator. T-Start accepts teams of researchers. So these are two populations, right? The students, the body of students is one population, and the researchers, including graduate students and faculty members, there are another population. So for that population, for the research population, we have an accelerator program called T-Start, which is very successful. We've been running it this is the third year now, and we see more and more applications. And it's a program where teams of researchers can join, and they get funding to take their ideas from a research idea to what we said before, a POC, a proof of concept. So that's another way to support this journey. And these are the two programs currently that take donation money. The other programs are funded by Technion in different ways.
Well, thank you both for this absolutely fantastic conversation. I hope that everyone was as inspired as I was to hear the breadth of activity that's going on, and just imagine where the future could go with more generations of students going through these programs, getting educated, and hopefully coming up with ideas that change Israel and the world. A real pleasure to share the virtual stage with you today and learn all about this. If you're interested in learning more about anything you heard today or any of the projects that are coming out of here, please do reach out to your local American Technion Society representative. You can send an email to info@ats.org. You can also use the QR code on your screen for more information. And this program has been recorded, so you'll receive a link to it in the next few days, along with a link to the T-Hub information if you weren't able to scan this or if this QR code gave you any challenges. Thank you for joining us, and I'd love to wish Shana Tova to everyone on this call and their families. Let's have a peaceful year ahead of us.
Thank you.
Wishing